Have you ever wondered what truly powers your thoughts, emotions, and daily experiences? Look around you right now. Everything you see, your surroundings, your challenges, your successes, even your physical body, appears solid and permanent. Yet modern physics tells us something fascinating. At its deepest level, the universe is made of energy in motion. For thousands of years, ancient traditions taught a similar idea. They believed that life is supported by a subtle force that flows through all living things. Different cultures gave it different names, but the message was the same. When we live in harmony with ourselves, we experience greater vitality, clarity, and inner peace. Today, many people spend their lives searching for happiness in external achievements while ignoring the powerful world within. We focus on what we can see, touch, and measure, but rarely pay attention to our thoughts, emotions, and state of mind. Yet think about it for a moment. How often have you noticed that your mood changes the way you experience a day? When you're stressed, everything feels heavier. When you're calm, solutions appear more easily. When you're hopeful, opportunities seem to show up everywhere. This is not magic. It is the powerful relationship between your inner world and your outer experience. Ancient wisdom traditions taught that the human being is not separate from nature, but deeply connected to it. Just as rivers must flow freely to stay healthy, our minds and emotions function best when they are not blocked by constant fear, resentment, or stress. Many of us carry invisible burdens, old disappointments, unresolved worries, negative self-talk, limiting beliefs about who we are and what we deserve. Over time, these patterns can drain our energy and affect the way we see ourselves and the world around us. But here's the good news. What has been learned can also be unlearned. What has been conditioned can be transformed. And what feels stuck today does not have to remain stuck tomorrow. The journey begins with awareness. It begins by recognizing that every thought you repeatedly entertain shapes your emotional state. Every emotion influences your actions, and your actions help create the results you experience in life. This is why so many ancient teachings emphasized mindfulness, conscious breathing, gratitude, and self-reflection. Not because they were mystical rituals, but because they help bring your attention back to the present moment, where real change becomes possible. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a garden. Every thought is a seed. Some seeds produce confidence, peace, and growth. Others produce fear, doubt, and limitation. The garden does not judge what you plant. It simply grows whatever receives your attention. The question is, what are you planting every day? Are you feeding stress or calm? Fear or courage? Limitation or possibility? The quality of your inner life determines the quality of your outer experience more than most people realize. And this understanding can change everything. Because once you realize that your thoughts, habits, and beliefs are shaping your experience, you stop feeling powerless. You stop waiting for life to change before you allow yourself to feel better. Instead, you begin creating change from the inside out. In today's video, we'll explore how ancient wisdom, modern understanding, and simple daily practices can help you reconnect with your inner strength, develop greater mental clarity, and create a more peaceful, fulfilling life. So take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and join me as we explore the hidden energy within you. Welcome to the stress-free zone. Now, let's go a little deeper. Imagine standing beside a still lake early in the morning. The surface is calm, peaceful, reflective. You can see the sky mirrored perfectly in the water. But the moment you throw a stone into that lake, ripples begin to spread outward. One small action creates movement across the entire surface. Your thoughts work in much the same way. Every thought you think creates a ripple within your mind. Some thoughts bring peace. Others create tension. Some expand your possibilities. Others quietly limit them. Most people spend years believing that their thoughts simply happen to them. But what if your thoughts are choices? What if the quality of your life is shaped not only by what happens around you, but by what happens within you? This is where true transformation begins. Not with changing the world, but with changing your relationship to it. Think about someone who constantly focuses on problems. Their attention becomes a magnet for more problems. Not because the universe is punishing them, but because their mind becomes trained to notice obstacles everywhere. Now think about someone who focuses on possibilities. They face the same challenges, yet they often discover opportunities others miss. The difference is not luck. The difference is perception. And perception shapes experience. This is why many ancient teachings emphasized awareness. Because awareness gives you the power to choose. You cannot always control your circumstances, but you can learn to guide your attention. And where attention goes, energy follows. When you begin directing your attention toward gratitude, growth, purpose, and possibility, something remarkable happens. Your inner world begins to reorganize itself. You start feeling lighter, clearer, more resilient. And that inner shift often becomes the beginning of an outer transformation. The power of stillness. In today's world, silence has become rare. Our phones vibrate. Notifications compete for our attention. The world constantly asks us to react, to hurry, to worry, to compare ourselves with others. Yet some of the most important answers can only be heard in stillness. There is a reason why people often find clarity during a quiet walk, or while watching a sunset, or during a few moments of peaceful reflection. When the noise settles, wisdom emerges. The mind becomes less crowded. The heart becomes easier to hear. And suddenly, problems that seemed overwhelming begin to feel manageable. Stillness is not doing nothing. It is creating space. Space for healing. Space for insight, space for growth. Even 5 minutes of quiet breathing each day can begin changing the way you experience life, not because the world changes immediately, but because you do. And when you change, everything begins to look different. Your inner garden. Let's return to the garden metaphor. Imagine that every morning you walk into a garden carrying 2 watering cans. One is labeled fear. The other is labeled faith. Every thought you entertain receives water from one of those cans. When you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough. Things never work out for me. I'm always unlucky," you are watering weeds, and weeds grow quickly, but so do flowers. Every time you tell yourself, "I can learn, I can improve, I can grow stronger, I can create a better future," you are watering something beautiful. The challenge is that weeds often appear automatically. Flowers require intention. This is why personal growth is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more conscious of what you're cultivating every day. The future you're creating begins with the thoughts you're feeding right now. A simple daily practice. I want to share something simple, not complicated, not mystical, just practical. Tonight before you go to sleep, sit quietly for a few moments. Close your eyes, take a slow breath, and ask yourself one question. What kind of person do I want to become? Not what do you want to own? Not what do you want to achieve? Who do you want to become? A calmer person? A more confident person? A healthier person? A more loving person? A more successful person? Once you have your answer, imagine that version of yourself clearly. How do they walk? How do they speak? How do they handle challenges? How do they treat others? Most importantly, how do they treat themselves? Spend a few minutes feeling what it would be like to be that person. Not someday, now. Because every transformation begins with identity. Before a person changes their life, they change the story they tell themselves about who they are. The energy you bring into every room. Have you ever met someone whose presence instantly made you feel comfortable? They didn't say anything extraordinary, yet something about them felt peaceful, grounded, authentic. Then you've already experienced the power of inner energy. People can often feel what you carry before you ever speak. When you're constantly stressed, people sense it. When you're calm and confident, people sense that too. This isn't about pretending. It's about alignment. The more your thoughts, emotions, and actions move in the same direction, the more powerful your presence becomes. You stop fighting yourself internally. You stop living in contradiction, and your energy becomes clear, focused, authentic. That kind of energy naturally influences the people around you, not through force, but through example, the life waiting for you. Perhaps the most beautiful truth is this: you do not need to become perfect. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to eliminate every fear before moving forward. Growth is not perfection. Growth is progress. One better thought, one better choice, one better day, repeated consistently. Every great transformation begins quietly. A decision, a realization, a new perspective, a commitment to keep moving forward. The life you want may not appear overnight, but every day you invest in your mindset, your habits, and your inner peace, you move closer to it. The future is not something that suddenly arrives. It is something you create one thought, one action, and one choice at a time. As we come to the end of this video, remember this: you are not defined by your past. You are not limited by yesterday's mistakes. You are not trapped by current circumstances. Within you exists the ability to learn, adapt, heal, and grow. Your thoughts are powerful. Your attention is valuable. And your inner world matters more than most people realize. So today, choose carefully what you feed your mind. Choose thoughts that strengthen you. Choose beliefs that support your growth. Choose actions that move you toward the life you want to create. Because the energy you cultivate within yourself eventually becomes the life you experience around yourself. Thank you for spending these moments with me. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to breathe deeply, relax, and carry this sense of peace into the rest of your day. This is the Stress-Free Zone, and I'll see you in the next video.